So Zaril is the gentleman who hooked up our gate opener. He stopped by to see how everything was, and I said everything's great. The gate opener works very well. However, Prince pees on the gate, and you're never going to stop that. So I asked, what could we do? Because let me see if I can explain this. And you can see they already got a fix in place. So the gate comes down, and then the frame of the gate, if you can see, is right there. So it creates an L. So for lack of a better phrase, the P lays on that bottom of the L, down and over. So I said, what can we do with that? So remember the 1x that they use to stiffen the gate? They put several of them across to stiffen the gate. So they came up with a couple of things. One, they came back today and they used a grinder. Actually, they didn't use the wire brush, used a grinder. And they ground down everything once again because it's pitted. And I think it has to do with the P. Because you can see on the outside, here's the outside of the man door, there's no rust. So they ground it down, and then they use black epoxy primer. That was what they recommended over the paint. So maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I'll use epoxy primer from now on instead of paint. And they put a nice coat of paint down. Then they put the 1x and welded it in place. And then they're going to get ready to rivet. There's the rivet gun and rivets from the opposite side through the metal here into this 1x that's already welded. And they already painted two sides of the 1x. It's already painted with epoxy primer as well. Then they're going to come through and paint this with epoxy primer. And then this is what they recommended. See the gap there? And see the gap under here? Again, P is still going to get in there. So they asked us to buy body filler. It's here somewhere. I think it's right over here. So there's the epoxy primer. Right there. And then they asked us to get polyester body filler. And I think it's a two-parter. Has an activator. Super Glow ink hardener. And they're going to mix that up. Virtually it's Bondo. So they're going to come through and Bondo those two seams. You're going to hear the drill in a second, where he's drilling through the metal to do the riveting from the front side. So they're going to fill all this in with body filler. So that's the fix. And then we can paint over top of that with the epoxy primer. So hopefully that'll seal this and coat it where we won't have any more surface rusting. And then they said at the same time, putting this 1x and welding it to the support here on both sides, because they did the entire gate. See, they did over there. They did the door. You can see the new 1x. Every section of the gate, they put 1x and welded it in. So it'll even stiffen the gate even more. Because you don't want this gate. Now this gate's 21 feet. Might not look like it. But from that very corner to the very corner there, the black uprights is 21 feet. Pretty big gate. So the chance of it, flexing like this is real. So anything we can do to stiffen it is just going to make it better for the gate opener. So hopefully this will solve two problems. One, stiffen the gate, and two, solve our Prince issue. All right, so it's been a couple of days, just basically resigning myself that we're never going to get this correct. So it's been a few days. The guys has been working. They did get the fix in, so everything is painted but you can still see rust after a couple days. So it is what it is. So this is full of body filler. They did seal it in on the bottom. They sealed it in here, did some painting. It looks better. I think it's definitely stiffened the gate for sure. But again, that's why we got rid of the grates, because you just can't keep the rust from happening. I think we're on version 3 or 4 of paint, and it just doesn't last. So it is what it is. We're not going to do any more work on this, but we've been pretty busy. Let me show you what we've been working on. So after we've been working on the paint, we said that we needed to fix the lines. So see what they're starting to do. Starting to fill in, because there's just too many divots. Is a good example. I mean, there's no way you can paint over that and hide it. So we're going to go through and try to fill it. It's really a joint compound. Call it skim coat here. We're just trying to fix the imperfections. Look at that lazy dog. So back there, the same thing happened, but it's back there you don't really care. Here, we see it. So we want to try to make it as good as possible. Give you another example. I mean, no matter how many coats of paint you put there, it's really not going to matter. So I told him, take the time. I mean, even you can see as this column comes up, see how this column gets bigger? And it sticks out this way as well. So you could put 20 coats of paint on that, you're always going to see it. So we're going to try to skim coat it. We may have to chip out some concrete, because again, this is smaller than that. See, it goes up and turns and goes on an angle. So we're going to see after we fix these lines. We may have to grind some of that off to make it straight. But we'll see. It's just because this is where we hang out. So Senio is the one who came to us and said, sir, we need to work on this. So they're going to work on it this afternoon. Hopefully this dries quick, because I'd like to get this side done today. Don't know that's going to happen. Don't want to paint the front yet. I want to give it a few more days. We will touch up the columns, because we didn't do anything with the columns. But the panels are relatively fresh concrete, so we want to give that a few more days to dry. This has been drying for a while. But we want to start with the flower beds in front of this wall tomorrow. So the plan was to get this done today, and that was the plan. But we'll see how quick this dries. I'm sure it's going to take an hour, and then we're going to have to do some soft sanding, and then come back in and see if he needs to put more. Usually they do 2 coats, a skim coat. They'll do the initial, sand it, and then do another coat. So I guess that'll be 2 hours. And then a final touch-up sanding, and then paint. And then hopefully it blends it. It's not going to be perfect. We know that. But, you know, as close as possible. And over here, you can see it's pretty good. And again, this is the back of the house, so it's not as important as the front. But look at that back wall. Can't even tell that it was raised. So it might have something to do with the white paint. But even that is pretty good. And there's no skim coat there. That was just finish work. So we could have done some skim coat there and probably made it even better. But that's pretty good. And this back wall is perfect. So this is what we're looking for. We got to get this painted as well while the guys are at it. Just put another coat on it. So I guess you could say concrete paint lasts about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. and you're gonna have to freshen it up. But we told Dudoy, go ahead and just start in the front and come around and give the skim coat a chance to dry and sand. And then this afternoon we'll get to the point where we need to do the final coat. And what we're doing also is pulling back the rocks, painting down and putting the rocks back. So many times when I was in the US, I would watch wall builds and they would just leave the raw dirt, and then the rain would hit and splatter dirt up on the wall, and you would see in a lot of cases, a lot of videos I watch, the bottom, I don't know, 16, 18 inches would be stained, and it looked like it was like a permanent stain. So that's why I said, you know what, when we build our wall, we're going to put rocks right away. So right when they were done rendering the wall, when we first built the house, we put the rocks on right away. And I can remember the guy saying, no, we got to paint that yet. I said, I know, but you're not going to paint it for a month, so I don't want rain to splatter up on it when it's raw concrete. And then the guys had to move the rocks back to paint it and put the rocks back after it was painted. But that's what we wanted because we didn't want, you know, staining, trying to keep it looking good. So it's drying pretty quick. You can see where it's thicker, it's a little darker, lighter out here. So this is pretty much dry. So I'm thinking this has only been on for 10-15 minutes, so definitely within an hour it should be dry enough to sand. And then we hope we can get in here with another coat of paint this afternoon and try to make it look like there's no line. That's going to be almost impossible, but we want it to be as close to perfect as we can get it. So wish us luck. I want to take a few minutes and talk about the pool. Our pool's been open now for 18 months. And so many people ask the question, is the pool too much work? Is it too much maintenance? And I've been saying right along, the answer is no. Not at all. I can hold on to my hat. You see it's a little breezy here. So the answer is no. I mean, it's been very, very easy to maintain, very, very easy to keep clean. We just recently bought a solar cover. I have it off right now. It's only 7 meters by 3.5 meters, so it only covers about 3/4 of the pool, but it really does a significant job with the being so close to the equator. And where we're at, there we are. Laser beam is right there. So solar cover works really well. Our 2 thermometers went kaput. I think it's just the chlorine in the water just ate them up. So I'm gonna have to guess at the temperature. I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm gonna say it's 85, 86 degrees. It's getting to the point where it's not refreshing when you jump in. So maybe we don't put the solar cover on every night or every day for that matter. I took it off now just for this video, but typically we keep it on until we go swimming, and then we take it off and then we put it back on again. So, but the one thing I want to cover is I finally bought some algicide. And so many people say, well, how often do you put algicide in the water? And the answer is I have never have. I've only used chlorine in it for 1.5 years. So 18 months of putting chlorine in it twice a week. That's all I've done. I've been asked, how often do you scrub the tile? The answer is I haven't. And I know it doesn't make sense. Now the water line you do have to clean. So you'll get just, you know, you can see there's a leaf there. You know, you'll just get a leaf and you can see, I think this is just simply chlorine. You can see that little white spot. Chlorine from the water splashes up when we swim, and then it dries, and then the chlorine's left behind. So the water line is a little bit of maintenance, but how easy is that when you jump in and we just use a rag with some cleaner and just go around, or a sponge and just clean it up. But just recently we're starting to get some algae. And I don't know if you can see it. And it is hard to see, but in some of the grout lines, especially in the deep end, after 18 months, we're finally getting some algae in the pool. I don't see anything on the sides, but on the bottom. There's another spot let's see if I can, right there. See, it's a little darker. That looks like algae down in there. So I ordered a brush, a pool brush, a proper pool brush. It's on its way. And I ordered, from what I was told, is some good algicide. It wasn't cheap. I think it was about $30, and I think it's only 12 ounces. So it's a concentrate, and it came highly recommended from Tropical Pools here in Dumaguete. And they actually sell it, but they sell it for a little bit more. So I just ordered it on Shopee. So I'll let you guys know what it does, if it helps or not. So we had to do the calculation. 17,000 gallons. I think that's 68,000 liters, something like that. Maybe I'll do the math and put it on the screen for you. But that's about what this is. 17,000 gallons and under 70,000 liters. So we'll do the calculation of how many ounces you have to put in. And it says don't put any other chemicals with it, so no chlorine. So I put chlorine in it like every 3.5 days. So I'll wait to that 3.5 days, hit it with algicide. I'll probably put a little more than what's suggested, and we'll see what happens, if it makes any difference or not. But there is some spots that are not getting vacuumed up. So I guess I could go down there with just a regular scrub brush, but I bought a proper pool brush, and here in the deep end, it's definitely got some spots that looks like algae to me. So that's the first time. So 18 months, not bad. The water itself is crystal clear. I mean, you can see right to the bottom, and it's crystal clear. And when you swim, I mean, you can see your feet when you're walking in the deep end or down towards the deep end. I mean, the water itself is very, very clean. But after 18 months, we're finally getting some algae. Now, it could have something to do with the solar cover. Maybe the rise in the water temperature could have something to do with it. Because I'm going to say our pool ranges anywhere from like 76 to 80, maybe 82. And now I'm guessing it's like 84 to 86. So that few degrees Fahrenheit rise in temperature could have something to do with it. So maybe to get that warmer temperature that Wilma likes, she's sitting over there she is. She likes it a little warmer. I actually like it a little cooler. I like jumping in and saying, wow, it's a little chilly, and then in 5 minutes or 3 minutes you feel fantastic. I like it 80, 82. It's probably my dialed in temperature. But Wilma likes it a little bit warmer. So the 84 to 86 it is now could have something to do with it. I guess we'll figure that out. But I'll let you know. I'll show you the algicide once I get it delivered. It says it'll be here Saturday. And then I'll put it in. We'll see if it makes a difference or not. So it's been a while, right, since we've had to worry about the pool.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's been so good. I mean, it's just challenges. It's got to be the solar cover. That's what I'm thinking. What are you doing? You're sipping on some wine?
Yeah, I'm having one.
Look at this boy. He hangs out with us all day. We have him on leash right now because the guys are in the yard working. And he's used to him now, but he bugs them.
You want to play with them?
Yeah, he wants to play, and then they're painting, so he's going to put his nose in the paint, so we just hold on to him. But we're just sitting here, relaxing, having a bottle of wine, and now that the water is warmer,
Cheers.
cheers. Now that the water is warmer, you need to swim more.
Yeah.
And she's been in it twice in the last, want to say 5 days, which is pretty amazing to me that she has been in the water twice in 1 week. I'm in it all the time. And this is the one who wanted the pool. Oh, we want a pool. And then she's rarely in it. She's always got an excuse.
Well, it's cold up here. It's colder up here.
Oh, that's true.
I never expect that.
Yeah, we didn't expect. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
That the water temperature would be a little chilly because it does get down. And again, I talk Fahrenheit, guys. We sit here at night and say, this is not the Philippines. Often it's 70 degrees at night. How beautiful is that, Fahrenheit? And our low was 67.
67, yeah.
Yeah, so the temperature here doesn't fluctuate much. I mean, in New York, you'll get 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you'll get as low as 0, sometimes -5, -10 once in a while. So let's just say it's a 110 degree Fahrenheit swing. Here, no. 70 is a low, 67, and then let's just call it 100 as a high, but you know, it's usually in the 90s, and then with the humidity, it feels like it's over 100. But let's just say 100. So that's what, a 33 degree swing. So the temperature does not swing much here because we're so close to the equator, like it does, say, for example, in New York, USA, where it's 110 degree Fahrenheit swing. So that was a big surprise for us.
It was.
That the fact that the water, a few times we've had friends over and they jumped into Filipinas and they said it was too cold, they got out. So the solar cover makes sense, but it may have created an algae problem in our pool because we haven't seen it before, and now all of a sudden we're seeing it. But again, we ordered the algicide. We'll see what happens, and we'll let you know. Hey, pretty girl, what are you doing? You just wake up from a nap? Huh? You're doing good. All right, take a look at this mess. We've been busy. Busy for sure. So the first thing I want to show you is we extended our driveway. Remember, that was all stonework that goes out to our less than stellar road, our dirt road leading to our house. But we extended it down just to make it easier of a transition, because this is quite a bit higher than the road itself by design, because when it rains we want the rainwater to go out. But we did extend out, and we did it in 2 parts. A lot of rebar in there. When we did it in 2 parts, the next day we pegged it with rebar, so both are connected. We pegged all along here with rebar coming out every couple of feet. A lot of rebar in here. Then I think we have 4 strands of rebar, and then we drove in 6 pieces of rebar down into the ground about 18 inches, and that was a chore because we were hitting some rocks, but drove it down to tie it to all that tic-tac-toe so this won't slide. So pegged here, and then driven into the ground. So I think we're in pretty good shape. But this is going to be the next project, keeping these guys busy. You can see the walls drying. We like this very much. A lot more privacy. And we're going to build another wall here, but we're only going to go about this high. Not very high at all. Right, girl? Look at that face. That's a good looking face, sweetheart. She's so much healthier than she was when we found her. And she sticks with us all the time. You get Prince barking every day. When someone comes around, she barks, and then gets Prince barking. So here, we're only going to go up 3 blocks. Oh, there she is. Must be somebody over there. Oh, there you go. Somebody walking up on the neighbor's property. She's barking away. That's what she does. So we know when we hear her bark, we know that means somebody is pretty close. So it's a good, it's like a doorbell. There she goes. You're going to hear Prince bark. So what we're going to do here looks like a mess now. But we're going to go a block underground, Well, first of all, we're going to fill this in with stone. And then we're going to put rebar in the bottom. Just got a delivery of rebar. I think we have 175 block. So it's enough block to get this done. And it's going to come off this way, right here. All the way down to the property line and back up to not the very end, but the second column. So we're going to fill this all in with rock tomorrow. That's the plan. Concrete, rebar, then a block underground, then 2 block above ground, or 3, we'll see. And then every 2 feet, we're going to be driving rebar right here down into the ground through the hollow block. Every 60 cm is what they recommend. So what's that? To a little over 2 feet. All the way down. And then the horizontal rebar will tie with tie wire. So it's only going to be 3 or 4 block possibly high. So it doesn't really need to be that strong, but we want it to be straight. And obviously we don't want it to topple over. So that's why we're putting all that rebar in here. I bought quite a bit of rebar. I think I bought 200 feet. I think I figured out, or 220 feet, 11 pieces. So I got 220 feet of rebar on the other side of this wall waiting for the project. So what we'll do here is wherever we want to lower this, because this is very much, I don't know if it's going to show in the camera, but very much on an angle. We want it to be level. So wherever this wall ends at the height, 3 or 4 high, and it's going to be not that high from here, a couple feet high. Then we're going to pull all this dirt and level this out and get it to be flat. Will we keep the rocks? Hell yes. 7 rocks across the front, 7 columns, 7 lights. So we want to make this level instead of on an angle. And then once it's level, then we'll put some real nice topsoil, and then Wilma can do what she wants when it comes to flowers or whatever. Just trying to create a nice little flower bed. So this is going to keep us busy, or keep the guys busy for the next few days.